Good morning. It is 17 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Police Department, we have Sergeant Grace Fresquez she's actually the neighborhood watch part, and then Lieutenant. I think last time I talked to you, you weren't a lieutenant then.
No.
I don't think you were.
Yeah, I was a sergeant.
He got a promotion since the last time we talked to him. Lieutenant Richard Romero with us as well. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good.
Good. How's life at the PD this morning? Always busy, I'm
Super
sure.
busy.
Yeah.
Super busy, especially now that summer's coming. Everything's getting wilder.
Yeah, and I imagine, I know we got a lot to talk about here, but I'm guessing, since like for 2 years, a lot of people weren't going out and about COVID, probably dealing with a lot of more home stuff. But now that the world's opening back up, it's probably almost the calls you get shift a little bit from your domestic stuff to more stuff out in parks and in the public now, because people are out and about now and they get outside and excited and, well, things happen.
Yeah, it's actually going back to normal.
Gotcha. Normal day-to-day police operation.
Yeah, now people get into fights in stores and
Where the good
public
Lord
areas instead of just at home.
Very true. But I know this for a fact. If you are looking for a great career in law enforcement, the Roswell Police Department's always taking applications. They're always grooming the next batch to go off to the academy here and make our next Roswell's finest group here. So if you're interested in that, I guess Lieutenant Romero here is probably the guy that you talk to on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I've been there for, 4 years, I think, in the division, so just kind of off and on. But,
but you're very familiar with the training, the whole
totally.
And him and guys like him, they really do a good job to prepare you before you even go to the academy.
Yes.
So
before we put you to the street too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get so much training. So if you have a desire to just, even if you're like, well, I don't know if I know the laws, and they'll teach you all of that. If you have the heart and dedication, the rest they can teach you. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And there's always refreshers for law block.
Yeah.
For the new laws that come out.
And I imagine you guys are kind of like doctors and teachers where the training's constantly evolving and changing. So even when you're a full-fledged police officer doing your daily shift and things, you still have a lot of opportunities where you take training days and things because there's either new procedures or new stuff that your guys are seeing on the street that you have to educate yourselves on and things. So it's constantly evolving your training anyway, regardless whether you've been doing it for 20 years or you're a first-day recruit.
Yes.
Yes, we're required to update our certification every so often, every 2 years.
Good deal.
We have to have so many hours for 2 years.
Gotcha. Good deal. Yeah, it's constantly keeping you on your toes, I'm sure.
Yes.
But what we want to talk a little bit about today is if you don't desire to be a police officer, but you care about your community and like to see a great area, then we've got another opportunity for you to get involved with, and it's one you've heard of before. It's called Neighborhood Watch.
Yes.
And really, I would say for your job as officers, a well-run neighborhood watch is a vital tool in helping you guys do what you do on the streets. So when you have neighborhood watch programs that are active, participate in, kind of, and it doesn't require a lot of work. It's not like the movies where you have to put on your vest and walk around. And, you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's really just looking out for your neighbors and the people. And I'm stealing your speech. I know I am, but the people that live there know best on what the day-to-day looks like there.
Exactly.
So you're the experts in that community. So when you see things that don't look normal, you're going to notice it way before a police officer or someone else will. And that's what Neighborhood Watch is all about.
Yes, the community is the eyes and the ears of this little division. I'm a one-man division. And so it's actually really wonderful because, like you said, each community is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has their specific and unique needs. So once I actually go and do meet and greet with them and talk to them and find out what their concerns or problems are, it's crazy how different they are. I mean, one could be speeding, the other ones are more of, and this is crazy. I actually had a group of people that were saying, well, birds were attacking us from the trees.
Those birds, man.
Like swooping down on us. I thought, wow, okay, as long as there's no crime, we're good.
I haven't arrested any birds lately.
Get the bird police over there.
But you laugh. And I completely agree. I think I know what you're talking about. Like my neighborhood, we were joking. I live over in North Springs. We talked about this, but that's a lot of trees, a lot. And I'm telling you, around my grading season, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little Alfred Hitchcock out there when you walk out to take your trash cans and you're just hearing thousands of birds in the trees going, ah! You're like, am I safe? Are they gonna dive down in I mean, you get a little weirded out. So it does not surprise me that you've gotten a few.
Yeah, so it ranges. The complaints or the concerns do range.
Yeah, you get everything from serious stuff to something like that, birds on attack here and things. But really, that's the relationship. We want that relationship between our law enforcement officers and the neighborhoods. It's we're all on the same team. We all want to live in a great place, and being able to just be the person that says, hey, the last couple nights there's been some guy walking through here or whatever. That's how arrests are made. That's how bad guys are taken off the street. Rarely do you catch people in the act. You're not going to walk in on a barricade and you got a guy red-handed going, oops, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You catch him afterwards at traffic stops, walking through neighborhoods, doing, casing the next place or just doing things that, that's how you catch these bad guys. But if you don't have the information saying, hey, I've been seeing this guy walking this last couple nights over here, or this, you guys won't know to look for these things or be in those areas. And so you're basically telling officers, hey, this is the guy, he's been hanging out here, send an officer to kind of patrol that area around this time, and I bet you'll find this guy.
Absolutely.
That's neighborhood watch.
Yes.
A perfect example is that is like we could be driving by and see somebody standing out by a vehicle that doesn't belong to this guy, but we don't know that. So we just drive by and don't think anything.
Nothing of it.
And then, but the neighbors see the guy standing out there and they call it in.
Flag
so
it down.
Easy, simple way to put it. So
yeah, and really it's and this is where you guys do your best police stuff. I think is that neighborhood relationships. You guys can when a strong neighborhood watch and everyone kind of on the same page and understanding and looking out for each other. It makes it really hard for bad guys to get away with bad things. I'm not saying they won't commit crimes because, that's what happens. But they're going to think twice when they know that neighborhood is looking out everything they do and they break in one and next thing you know, they get busted. The odds of them coming back, probably pretty low.
Yeah,
Crime prevention
even
101.
Yeah, exactly.
And even speaking of that, I have these really large signs that I'll have our streets guys put up.
Okay.
And so, but it kind of looks like maybe there's cameras or something in the area.
It sets up
It's a great deterrent.
It looks like, hey, we're a team. We're part of the community here. We're looking for guys like you. Go ahead and try your stuff. Odds are pretty good. We're going to get you caught.
Yes.
And it really sends that message. So when you see those neighborhood watch signs everywhere, and you see an active group walking around and just seeing. That's how it works.
Yes, and I have had actual neighborhoods that have told me that the normal foot traffic that's gone on goes somewhere else as a result of those signs, which is really nice.
Yeah, the people that are up to no good, they know what they're looking for when they know they're opportunists, just like we all are.
Yes.
They path of least resistance. Shoot. Most robberies and things, it's all path of least resistance. It's breaking into a car and taking it. Rarely, the criminals rarely want any people contact either. They just want to get what they get and be on their way. So if you're hanging out, making it really hard, making it known that there's a lot of eyeballs just hanging out in this area, they're going to be like, I'll move on to the other neighborhood here. It really does work. It makes it to where only the most desperate of criminals are going to want to go through or the dumbest.
Opportunistic.
Yeah.
So anything that's an easy opportunity, they're going to try to take it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So a good neighborhood watch can really prevent some of that. And I'll let you kind of explain this. The kind of the responsibilities of a neighborhood watch, because it varies from community to community. But
it does.
It's you don't necessarily have to literally like, all right, 10 o'clock on a Friday night, we get flashlights and walk around. And it's not really like that.
No, because it's actually a 24-hour thing that everybody's looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Some people can go to work and you've got those neighbors that, stay home, they're retired. And so they're just in the neighborhood walking their dog. And that's just part of the neighborhood watch.
Absolutely.
They're watching out for their neighbors.
Yeah.
And then those people could go to bed early and you've got the people coming home from work. And of course, they can see the area. Another thing I was going to say was one of the things I do with my neighborhoods is I want to be the bridge of communication between any city entities and the Roswell Police Department.
Okay.
So our captains or the main person of contact for each of these neighborhoods, they can get a hold of me and let me know certain things. If it's not an emergency, that way we're not overwhelming front desk with complaints of certain things. That way I can get it out to the correct areas to be investigated.
Do you get like non-police stuff for neighborhood watch? And what I mean by, because I know like the city, like if you go to the city's website and you want to report, say, a street light out or birds. there is a link on the website to do that, but I didn't know if, as a neighborhood watch side, you get a lot of people's like, man, if they fix it, because that's a safety and security issue, a street light or something like that. So I was wondering if you dealt with a lot of those kind of say, all right, obviously the police department's not up there changing light bulbs, but they can get that message over to the city streets guys and those people that can do that.
Yeah, I actually do have the connections. Actually, Excel has been amazing to work with. They have been more than helpful with a lot of these neighborhoods.
Good deal.
We're actually working on one right now on the east side of town to get their neighborhood lit up, because now that it's summertime, there's going to be kids wanting to play outside in their front lawns or areas, and there's no light.
Sure. And where darkness goes, that's where, shenanigans follow. It's just what happens.
Exactly.
It's just out of sight, out of mind. Opportunity is everything,
Yes.
It's just like kids. You put a group of excellent kids in a room and you stick a bunch of liquor and stuff. Yeah, a couple won't do a thing, but some are like, well, a lot of people have a good time doing this. I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? It's all about opportunity. So, don't give it. Make sure those lights are lit up and things like that. And,
absolutely.
And of course, it follows true. I know we're not really in holiday season, but when that goes, when you're out and about in your neighborhoods or shopping and do all that, don't make it easy for these folks.
Exactly.
Lock your doors. Leave if you've got expensive items. Don't leave them in plain sight in your vehicle. Hide them. Don't. Half the time they weren't going to break in, but they just walked by and saw an iPad or a phone or purse sitting on a front seat or something, and cling, and they're gone.
Well, that's something else too. And it's crazy, but there are people out there that will leave large sums of cash in their vehicle, and it'll get broken into. Well, there goes the cash.
And then they're like, "Well, what happened?" And like,
yeah, absolutely.
Granted, you're right. It shouldn't be. We should, humans should be decent, but they aren't. They just, it's humanity's not. So you have to be proactive to a point, and that's and part of it is just being a little street smarts there. Locking doors and keeping things out of plain sight. Things around your home. Don't when we talk about shrubs and stuff, the well-lit areas, and don't provide a lot of little hiding spots for people to hide in when they're trying to break into your homes and things like that.
Well, and information and education through the Neighborhood Watch program is also what's been helping a lot of the community members that I have.
Good.
I do send out, it depends on how the captains want to be notified, but I'll send out text messages, or I will send an email out to people. Like if I see a certain pattern in our calls for service, because I've got the computer linked to all the patrol cars in town.
Gotcha.
Say if there's a bunch of vehicle burglaries. Actually, last week, let me give you an example. We had some kids that decided to go and break into a bunch of vehicles and smash windows in the downtown area.
Was it robbing or vandalism?
No, just a bunch of vandalism.
Okay, gotcha.
So a lot of people aren't going to know to go and look at certain items. Well, I went ahead and sent all these people, hey, go and check your vehicles, your buildings, and sure enough, they did find a bunch of damage.
Places that they necessarily don't look at every day or go
so trying to give them the information so either they know that this is what's going on, hey, let your other neighbors know. That's all part of the Neighborhood Watch program that we have going on.
Yeah, but you're right. That's it's all about keeping out for and keeping a lookout. And if things don't look right or seem right, report it. That's the big thing is we all have our little intuitions, our little gut in your stomach. Humans, we've got that ability. And sometimes, some are stronger with it than others, but we all have that. And sometimes you're in a situation in life and you're like, something's off-putting, something just doesn't line up right here. And that sometimes that gut's a pretty good indicator.
All it takes is a phone call.
And so a quick phone call to law enforcement. And next thing you know, and if it's nothing, your gut is nothing, guess what? The officers will figure that out and be like, oh, it's no big deal. We'll go on about our day.
Yeah.
But your little gut feeling may have uncovered something that was nefariously planned
prevented it
from happening, a major robbery or worse, So don't deny your gut sometimes. If your gut's telling you something don't seem right, report it. report it. And this is in if you're at the store, if you're at your house, wherever it is, if you're in a scenario don't look right or feel right.
Yes. So you can either call the front desk to the Roswell Police Department or call 911.
Yeah.
One of the things I do have to tell my people is, yes, please give me information, but I'm not always there because I'm holding meetings or I'm at, speaking engagements,
Sure.
things of that nature, or I'm on my days off. So not
You
all
get those
the
once in a
time.
while?
Every once in a while, thankfully.
One falls in your lap every once in a while.
Yes. And so I'm not around to answer the phone or anything
Sure.
or return messages or forward it. So a lot of it depends.
Yeah. But the worst thing you can do is do nothing. That's the point we want to make here. And if you have questions and things, and you're out and about town and you see a Roswell police officer or a county sheriff, for that matter, any law enforcement, don't hesitate to walk up and talk to them and ask questions and things. They, as long as they're not actively in a situation or something going on, they're just, patrolling or maybe stopping for a meal break or something, talk to them. They, talk. Obviously, if you're looking for recruitment, that's a great place to learn more about what, like, being a police officer. But if you have questions and things or about just stuff you're seeing, or if you don't know, law enforcement officers are there as information centers as much as they are to serve and protect. That's part of the serving.
So is the community, too.
Yeah.
One of the things I do enjoy about my job is that we will have these meetings, and they're 1-hour meetings, and it depends on the neighborhood. We'll hold it once a month or quarterly or whenever is more feasible for them.
Sure.
We will brainstorm together and we will talk about, okay, how do we resolve this? Mm-hmm. Because I don't always have all the answers, but there are people out there that would be able to give me ideas.
Sure.
But that's, again, how you work together.
Well, it's pulling the information. You have your expertise on law enforcement things, these individuals' expertise on the neighborhood, on what the activity's like, who lives there, what's going on, what looks normal, what does not. And so that partnership, your law enforcement expertise with their eyes and ears, can make a very, very strong deterrent for these kind of things in your neighborhood. So do your part. Law enforcement's ready to do theirs. Come. If you want to, this is part of what people doing. If you want a good place to live, if you want a great community, your government and everything's going to help do that. But at the end of the day, the people have to stand up and roll up their sleeves and get involved, because that's what makes a community great. It's the people in it and what they do. And so the neighborhood watch is really almost a linchpin, I think, in law enforcement in being the best tool for creating that police officer community relations. Because obviously I'm telling you guys, better than I do. That's been questioned in the last 3 years, that relationship, and due to a lot of bad information, some good, some bad, but I think we're all learning from that. And the good news is, we keep things like Neighborhood Watch, that fosters more of that. That fosters more. It makes better police officers. It makes better neighborhoods. It really is a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, anything else real quick on Neighborhood Watch? I do want to talk a little recruitment with you and just some other stuff we're seeing, too.
No, if anyone has any questions, please call me at 624-6770. My extension is 4162, and I would love to chat, whether in person or on the phone.
I know for a fact she'll come out to, if you have your neighborhood meetings, or whether you have like an HOA or just an informal meeting together, or maybe you want to create a meeting of the neighbors for a Neighborhood Watch. Reach out to Sergeant Fresquez here, and she'll be happy to.
Especially if there's food, I'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
She's kidding, but she ain't wrong. I'm just saying. When you want to gather people, I don't care what it is, bring food. They will come.
We do that at our meetings, and we talk what we want to talk about.
Exactly. And everyone's happy.
And it's lots of fun.
It's better to talk about Neighborhood Watch, say, over a sandwich.
Yeah. You're not so hangry having conversations.
You can focus, But I kid, but this really is a good thing. Do that. In all seriousness, do that. Make it a cookout. Maybe make a neighborhood cookout. Y'all get together on a Saturday and y'all bring a covered dish, or go find a common area and bust out the grills and invite Sergeant Fresquez over to come and talk and eat a rib with you.
I'll be there.
You might even bring Lieutenant Romero. Be like, I'll come with you.
I've been to a few of them, and I do grub.
He's like, I ate a lot. Matter of fact, they kicked me out because I ate too much. I'm just kidding.
I went home for the evening and I wasn't hungry to eat dinner with the family.
Right? Got home. It's like, what, you cheating on me with another neighborhood? Yeah, I ate a bunch of ribs.
And just so you guys know, we do have 25 active streets. We actually have about 5 or 6 super active neighborhoods.
Good.
And 11 businesses here in town.
But we could use more. The more,
Yes.
the merrier
Yes.
here.
So please reach out.
It would be awesome to see neighborhood watch signs over every single street in the city. Wouldn't it be cool? Every
Yes.
neighborhood's just littered with signs at every corner.
And the
Just-
ones that we have are actually different from the ones that you would usually see out there that are sun faded.
Gotcha.
So these are different.
Gotcha.
And-
a fresh one. They don't look like they're from 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, they had a neighborhood watch
It's
once.
fresh, but it's also a different design.
Sure.
But it's still the blue eye and it's still blue.
Well, again, going back to the deterrent side, if they're seeing fresh, brand new signs out there versus the 30-year-old signs,
Exactly.
they're like, oh, they're this is recent, this is updated.
Yes.
They're not messing around over there. You know, yeah. If you got unfortunately, you see the signs from 30 years ago. Oh yeah, there was an active neighborhood in
But
there,
there isn't.
but yeah, not
But
now.
if there are old street signs that are out there, if you folks want them replaced, as long as you guys are an active neighborhood watch
Yeah.
group, I
Okay.
will have them replaced.
Awesome. Just reach out and call
Yes,
you.
and I can get that done.
And if your neighborhood watch is not active and you'd like to make it active, then you also call her and she'll help you do that.
Yes.
She can help, I'm sure, and if you need ideas, because I'm sure every neighborhood's different on how they organize. Some
yes.
it's hanging out at somebody's house.
Yes.
Some they meet at a third,
A community church.
yeah, community church, a neutral location, and others may just, maybe it's a couple people in the neighborhood starting the early groundwork, and they haven't been. They're calling you out, 1 or 2 neighbors, and they're saying, hey, Sergeant Fresquez want to start something. Can you help us? And you give them the paperwork, give them the ideas and things, and then they go into the neighborhood and build it up, and then they call you back when they're ready to have a bigger meeting or something like that.
Yeah,
But-
I start out with a meet and greet to meet everybody in the neighborhood and then munch and, just talk about, okay, what's going on within your community that we could probably help with.
Gotcha.
And then if they want to go ahead and continue with the program, okay, then let's get some guest speakers lined up for the 1-hour meeting.
Gotcha. People that have experience and know exactly.
We have had city councilors. We have had, actually one time we had Candy Spence-Zell come hang out
state
with us.
representative. Cool.
So it's a personable one-on-one thing with that neighborhood so that you know what's going on in your side of the state or your side of your community.
Sure.
That's all part of the Neighborhood Watch program.
And that's also a great conduit for you guys too, because I'm sure you reach out to some of these neighborhood watch, especially if there's something going on in the area and saying, hey, I'm getting reports of this. You guys ought to take just be on the lookout for that. I'm getting some reports from neighborhoods nearby about this. I'm sure there's that intercommunication as well between the active neighborhood watch. It's like, hey, couple neighborhoods over, there's something going on, in case that blows our way, be on the lookout kind of thing. That's how neighborhood watch works, is that kind of stuff. But the only way that happens is people got to stand up and step up and be willing to meet and start the process here.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
So reach out to Sergeant Fresquez here if you have any questions about any of this stuff. If you want to learn more about it, if you want to organize something, if you want to reestablish a neighborhood watch that went defunct in your neighborhood, or if you want to start from scratch or whatever, come reach out here. And of course,
I just got to give the kudos. I mean, she's doing an excellent job. She's Sergeant Fresquez has taken over the entire program by herself. And,
single-handedly.
Yeah, she's doing excellent.
she looks happy and cheerful. I
think-
figured someone who did that looked a little more run down and tired, but she looks pretty chipper.
It's actually really nice. And then I love to visit. So
Well, so then you're good to go. If you like
I
talking
am.
with people, which
yes, and I like sharing information. Well, not information that if it's like
Private.
active, ongoing, but
keeping people informed.
yes. Because I want people to know what's going on in their surrounding community.
Sure.
And
Speaking of that, real quick, while we got you, is there anything citywide that we need to let folks know about? Any rash of things that you guys are seeing, or any?
so fentanyl has been hitting pretty bad here in town. One of the things that has come up is that it's actually in a small pill form that kind of looks like aspirin or Advil.
Just fentanyl?
Yeah.
Oh wow! See, I always thought they just used it as like when they couldn't make enough heroin, they use it to kind of fill it out to make it. I mean, I have no idea. I watch Narcos. That's about my knowledge of the cocaine trade. But like when those Colombians and all that make all the drugs and there's not enough cocaine crop, they lace it with the fentanyl. I didn't know you could just do fentanyl by itself.
It is also being laced, and that is a huge problem because you're starting to see some overdoses with it.
Okay. So I didn't know they were taking fentanyl just to take fentanyl. I thought they were thinking they were getting heroin and getting fentanyl by accident and dying. Are there people seeking fentanyl?
They don't know sometimes that it's fentanyl, and they think it's cocaine or some other form that's broken up into powder substance, and then they use it thinking that it's a different drug.
So what do they think the pill is? Is that just a vessel of getting it to where they want to lace it with?
Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know.
They usually know what that is for the pill.
But sometimes people don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't understand if you knowingly take fentanyl. I mean, not that I'm condoning drug, but I don't know. Everyone knows that fentanyl's going to kill you. It's just gonna.
And we've had some encounters of people saying, "Hey, just so you know that there's fentanyl in there," and you just kind of wonder, why would you do that? Why?
It sounds. And I mean. And for folks that aren't realize how dangerous, I mean, as law enforcement officers, you come in contact with fentanyl, you guys hazmat suit up, and I mean, that's how bad this stuff is. It can't come in contact with skin and all that stuff. This is some seriously bad stuff.
Just breathing it in the air can actually cause you to faint and go into some medical conditions or.
And you have people willingly ingesting, or however they're getting it into their systems, and.
You can actually absorb it into your skin and can overdose that way.
That's what I've heard. A lot of officers, get worried when they're searching people and they're worried about coming across a needle or something with fentanyl laced or touched because, come in contact with your skin, now you're exposed. And,
which is also why we carry Narcan on us now.
Yeah.
Is that something like every officer carries?
Every officer in the state, it's required
Is it that bad where you guys come across that many overdosing people where everyone carries it like you would a flashlight?
Absolutely.
That's insane. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong that you guys have it and are saving lives this way, but the mere fact you need that is
your own.
Yeah, or your own. Yeah, you protect yourself. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You protect yourself as much as getting exposed as you are saving people's lives out there.
Yes, so if you find like a little pill somewhere, because I usually tell my neighborhood watch people, sometimes you'll have that foot traffic of just unknown people. And sometimes they'll either hide their stash or drop their stash in accident. Don't pick it up, call us, and we'll go get it to have it destroyed.
Yeah, you don't want that. Even if you're thinking, well, I don't want kids to, maybe stay around and hang around with it till an officer arrives on the scene, but don't try to pick it up. It could. I'd hate for someone to lose their life or get very sick because they were just trying to do something good. That'd be a bummer. So, So even if it looks, it's just a bag of cocaine, be careful. Be careful.
Because you can absorb that stuff through your skin.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's too easy to have a bad thing happen there.
Yes.
That's why we call law enforcement. That's why we have neighborhood watch. You keep an eye out on this type of stuff. Is that really though the big, like when we talk about Roswell and things? Is it drugs the worst? Is that 9 times out of 10 you're dealing with calls that are drug related in some way, shape, or form?
Yes. Wow. Unfortunately, but it's like that everywhere.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
just
not
Roswell.
New to Roswell. That's everywhere.
Yeah, but unfortunately, yes, it is a big issue.
And is it mostly fentanyl, or is it?
It's everything.
Is it everything? I mean, I know obviously with cannabis and what's going on there now, it's all recreational and all the different. But really, that the fentanyl's the big. I mean, that's what's killing people and everything.
Well, we've had a couple of reports of marijuana being laced with the fentanyl as well.
Wow.
So we've had to really, I mean, we're careful anyway, but we've really had to be careful.
Wow. Shoot. Yeah, because you think the marijuana is safer now because now you can get it recreationally. Well, at least Roswell, you will be here soon. But you know what I mean? If it's coming from reputable places, then one would assume it's safer. You know what I mean? Right. But obviously, if you're buying marijuana off the street, that's
different.
Yeah, if you're going into a dispensary to get, they're not going to be laced with it because there's so much regulation involved there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not even funny, but buying it off the street, even though, which is probably another tip, even though recreational marijuana is technically legal here, if you're selling it on the street, you're going to get caught, and that's illegal. And obviously, if you're looking to try weed for the first time, probably not a good idea, but if you do, don't go hit the guy on the street corner and say, give me a dime bag. Let me try it. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. It's still a dime bag.
Go to a reputable dealer.
Yeah, go to probably shouldn't skip it anyway.
I shouldn't say dealer. I should just say
dispensary.
Dispensary. Yeah. Golly, that's a wrong word.
It's got a better connotation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a good drug dealer.
Yeah.
But it really is, and I think, and that's probably something parents and everything we need to keep a watch now that recreational marijuana is a thing and all of that too. Be careful with what your kids are getting into. I already heard of some kids up north trying like getting edibles out to a bunch of.
Yes.
Like I saw something on the news yesterday about kid brought a bunch of edibles to school.
Even the fentanyl.
Yeah,
And it's in the vape pens too.
wow.
We've already had some of those.
Wow. I wonder, do you think people are buying it like from a legitimate thing and then lacing it afterwards?
It's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so again, if you're going to be doing it, buy it directly from the reputable source. If you're going to be doing the marijuana, obviously cocaine and on down is not legal, and there is no such thing as a reputable source. But when it comes to this marijuana and things like that, it's and of course, you yourself, if you're going to partake, this is just like handling alcohol. If you're going to be toking up or eating or whatever you're doing to ingest the marijuana, don't be out driving. Don't be out doing things. It's just like alcohol.
Yes.
It impairs your body.
Yep.
And you need to stay home or stay in a place where you're not on the streets. You're in some place safe and enjoying it with your friends and family or whatever you're doing and doing that. Don't, it's just like alcohol. It's going to alter your perception. It's going to alter your mood. So, you're not probably going to be as aggressive. I don't know a whole lot of aggressive potheads. They're usually pretty tame.
Unless they lace it with something else.
Yeah. But it will impair your driving. Don't be
Yes.
out driving and things.
Yes,
so.
it will.
Maybe be a few less fights. They're all stoned out instead of on alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, they're going to be a lot more fun. Guys might have to carry like bags of Fritos. And how you guys, sometimes law enforcement carries like a backpack with bears and things for kids whenever there's a bad situation. You might have to add some Fritos like in the trunk there in case.
You over there. Here's the bag of chips for you. You over there.
Calm down, bud. Here's some Fritos. You'll be all right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
Just having fun. I have a radio show. I got to entertain people with dumbness.
Well, not to mention, you have to be 21 and over.
Yeah, that's true. They're still
Yes,
underage. You can't be 18 or under, or 21 and under 21, and legally partake. So don't wait till you're 21 and then make your own decisions. And to be honest, I mean, I'm going to sit here and go on proclivities of what good, bad, indifferent on marijuana smoke, but I do know this. The drugs and the alcohol, I mean, it's bad for everybody. I mean, people's talking about benefits of marijuana and things. We can have that debate all day, but I do know this. If you're underage, it's bad across the board because your brain, your body is still developing. It's maturing into the adult. So when you start adding chemical substances into that process, you're really messing up your growth and development process in your body. Once you're in your 20s and 30s and it's fully gone, then it's all downhill from there. It's on you. But until you're 21, your body's still making you and still making you who you are. Even though you feel like you're full end of the line product, you're not. Your body's still developing, your brain's still developing, things are still developing there. And you're seriously impeding that or hurting that by doing drugs and stuff when you're 16 years old. I know it's cool. All the kids I get all of that, but I'm serious. That's why it's so bad. It's not like, my adults are. No, it's worse for you to do these things as kids. If you want to ruin your life as an adult, that's up to you. But as a child, at least give your body the full potential to do what it needs to do before you make decisions on it.
Very good point.
That's my thought on that. But that's why it's so hard for kids that's why we're so hard on kids about drugs and alcohol and things, because it's so much more dangerous for you to ingest it or do it than. I'm not saying it's a picnic for adults either, but there's so much more long-term consequences from a child doing it. As an adult, you're dealing with other issues at that point. And, you've got probably bigger fish to fry than your dependency
Back
on
problems.
whatever. So,
Arthritis.
Is there anything else we mentioned? Anything we wanted to mention? Anything that I sidetracked us on that we didn't get a chance to talk about? We get all.
No.
Of course, if you're like you said, if you're interested in becoming a law enforcement officer with the Roswell Police Department, call out, reach out. What's the website that you guys are steering people towards?
Still RoswellPolice.com.
RoswellPolice.com is the website. You can go there and fill out an application, read about it here, and of course, can you go there for the neighborhood watch as well?
Yes, there's actually a link for it.
Okay, so you can go there to there if you want to learn more about neighborhood watch.
Yes.
If you don't remember phone numbers and things you're driving about, just go to the Roswell PD website or even on the Roswell PD Facebook page. If you shoot a message out there and say, "Hey, I heard on the radio about neighborhood watch this morning," and they'll put you in touch with.
Or come visit me at the PD.
Yeah, you'll be you got your office there at the PD.
Yes, I do.
And if you've never been to the PD, I know it's an older building and all that, but
It's from the 70s.
Yeah. I got to tour it when I was in Leadership Roswell a few years ago, and it's an old bank.
I'm class of 2021.
Nice.
Best class ever.
Oh, nice. I was 2019 or 2020. I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, I got to tour the RPD, and it was an old bank, but it's really cool to see that building. It's kind of neat to, by the way, the old, like, bank vault. I think that's where y'all store something in there. Like, I don't know if it's drugs or firearms or something. Something that needs to be in a vault. Yeah. It's just funny. It's like, man, that was a bank vault. Now it's really, it was just, I don't know. It's just kind of cool for me to see. I know you guys probably want a new facility and everything.
Big.
Yeah. But it's a unique looking police station. It's just, it's different. It's just me. But anyway, reach out if you want any information about Neighborhood Watch, recruitment, and of course, if you're having questions or anything related to anything like that, laws stuff, anything, or if you're seeing stuff that doesn't sound right to you, please report it. Please report it. If you're at a store, if you're in your neighborhood, and you're seeing, you don't have to start a neighborhood watch formally to report these kind of things. If you're seeing things that don't look right, let law enforcement know. Let them check it out. If it's nothing will happen. If it's something, you just may have saved a life. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Well, thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the help you guys do for everyone, and we got to get you guys in back more regular again. And now that we're back to regular policing instead of COVID policing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a nightmare. That was a nightmare.
I imagine it's got to be way harder for you guys because anytime you get people together in a consolidated space, tempers are gonna, you know what I mean? It's just people get, especially if it's a long period of time, you get sick of looking at each other and talking to each other, and then you start getting mad at each other. That starts problems, and then they call you guys. And for folks that don't know, when it comes to law enforcement, probably one of the scariest calls a law enforcement officer can have is a domestic call.
Yes.
That's the ones that there's so many unknown variables for them in those on.
You're going into somebody else's territory that they're comfortable with.
So it's really
very personal.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. You're going into someone's personal life.
Yep.
It's not like you pull them over on the street and you stand on the street corner and it's neutral territory.
Exactly.
You're in someone's nooks and crannies and crevices. You don't know what's behind that corner. They do. And that can be a very uncomfortable scenario for a law enforcement officer. So I'm glad that you get little less of those now, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less.
Yeah, it's going back to normal, like I said.
Back to outdoors and stuff. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. We'd love to keep you guys in regular just to kind of talk about this, keep people up to date, and obviously if there's stuff going on, just to get the word out to people. So
absolutely.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Good seeing you. I told him he looks younger now than when last time I saw him. I don't know what happened. He's one of the few guys that looks younger when I saw him last.
Oil of Olay.
That's right. Ponce de la Romero here.
I've got a fountain of youth.
He's making Kim Kardashian look bad.
This is a fountain of youth pen. It's a fountain.
Let me leave you my card, though.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just
Thank
in
you,
case.
guys. Appreciate it. All right.